All right. Good evening, USA. Long Island, aka Strong Island, plus the five spots of Brooklyn, Bronx, Manhattan, Staten Island, and Queens. This is your man and homie, G Money Stacks, aka the Gregonator, your host with the most, misunderstood lonely nomad, unstoppable independent podcaster, creator, YouTuber, and of course, Queens, New York native, who is also a New York Mets fan from the neck of the woods of Laurelton, Queens, New York. And yes, you're now rocking with me by tuning in, listening, streaming, and watching the 103rd episode of the 103rd episode of the Sports Edition show. Excellent, fun, vibrant talks podcast, live and direct from StreamYard and the comfort of my room, and of course YouTube. And if you'd like to be a part of the leveling up experience when it comes to StreamYard, all you gotta do is set up an account. You can use your email address, you can use your podcast email address and stuff, and go to www.streamyard.com so you'll get a $10 discount hookup. All right. Make sure you leave a like and a comment along with the sports topics and hit that subscribe button along with the notification bell so you'll be able to be notified on when I'll be on the air via live stream, and of course, more video podcast episode live stream recordings. Now I know today's game was a little crazy and shaky with the to that in one of the following episodes, so I will talk about that. Um, but you know, for right now, I want to say this though. Something that Jerry Blemons, Brendan Nimmo, and some of the Mets players always say sometimes. Baseball is a game of failure, and of course, there's going to be some Mets players that overthink, over ex over execute. You know, a lot of times they'll feel overmatched and overmanaged. Yes, that could take a toll out of a person, especially if you let the mental mistakes get the best of you. Mental mistakes, whether it's in the infield or outfield, depending on which section you're playing, you cannot let those mistakes get the best of you and who you are as a team. And as far as identity is concerned, it's going to it's going to be it's going to be a while though. So you know, and and what's this shit about the Mets heading for a collapse? I see that with some of the YouTube thumbnails and all that other stuff, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Every you think you think the sky is falling down because of every loss? Like, come on. I'm gonna do a little reflection before I get up out of here. So I want to just cut to the chase with some recent rumors. Actually, there's been some recent rumors actually regarding Dylan Cease, which I will get to right here, right now in this um in this segment. Now I hope y'all are prepared for the third heat wave. Hopefully it'll be the last. The heat wave is gonna start like in the beginning of next of this week coming up. I believe it's from Tuesday through Thursday. So so make sure y'all have your waters, your popsicles, Italian icings, ice creams, um, your Gatorade, whatever it may be, and of course, be under an air conditioner as much as you can. And if you don't have a place to cool off or whatever, there's cooling centers. You can call 311 and they'll give you like a list of cooling centers near you. That's not too far from where you live. All right. So, all right. So let's cut to the chase. Let's cut to the chase with this. The rumor alerts in the air. All right. Let's get to it. Oops. Yeah. Let's talk about it. All right. Now, I'm here to debunk this rumor along with the other rumor actually. So let's get to it right here. So regarding Dylan Cease, which the deadline already passed already. So I doubt that he's going to be traded to a different team, which is not going to happen anytime soon because the trade deadline is already over. So let's get to it right here. So all right. So Dylan Cease remains with the Padres as the deadline passes. Will be a free agent at the end of 2025. A pending free agent. Cease's status was perhaps the most hotly debated subject in the Padres front office in the weeks leading up to the trade deadline on July 31st. Despite much speculation, the right-hander ended up staying with San Diego. So that's pretty much what that is. Yeah. So that's pretty much what that is actually. And they're staying with San Diego. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much what that is actually. So um that's pretty much what that is actually. So he's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. So most likely he's not going to get moved. So we'll go on to debunking another rumor. Um so this one has been debunked. Another rumor in regards to Max Scherzer. He's not going to the Yankees. He went to the Toronto Blue Jays. So the New York Yankees have opened the 2025 season given the early pitching setbacks with Gary Cohen ruled out for the year and Luis Gil still sidelined on the IL. The team has been forced to adapt. Ahead, I think looking ahead, the Yankees front office will need to bolster the starting rotation to stay competitive deep into the season. With less than 2 months until the trade deadline, they'll likely begin narrowing down a list of potential targets to reinforce their postseason push. Max Scherzer linked to the New York Yankees. Well, Jake Elman of Athlon Sports believes Max Scherzer could be an ideal trade target for the Yankees which that's not the case actually. A move that would benefit both sides. He argues that acquiring the veteran ace would be more strategic option for New York than parting with top tier prospects. Scherzer is currently with the Toronto Blue Jays on a 1 year, $15.5 million deal signed this past offseason. However, he has made just one appearance before landing on the 15-day IL due to right thumb soreness. The Yankees need another arm, and Scherzer checks plenty of boxes. Elman wrote, he'll likely come cheap, especially given his age and 1 year, $15.5 million contract. Oof, $15 million contract, man. Listen, listen. That's really something else, man. Although Scherzer contender sounds preferable to sticking with a team focusing on 2026. Elman also notes that unless the Yankees are in a desperate position, they likely won't. Excuse me, they likely wouldn't need to give up elite prospects like Spencer Jones or George Lombard Jr. Instead, he suggests a deal centered around 2024 fourth round pick and former Miami Hurricanes pitcher Gage Zeal. Despite being in the twilight of his career, Scherzer remains one of the most dominant starters of his generation. With two World Series titles under his belt, he could provide a valuable boost to the Yankees' rotation and operations. According to Arden Zwelling, the Blue Jays reporter for Sportsnet, the three-time Cy Young Award winner was scheduled to throw his first live BP session. He will have a longer one on Tuesday before progressing to rehab starts. Yep, it remains uncertain whether the Blue Jays will look to move Max Scherzer before his contract expires. If the team falls out of the playoff contention, he will likely be among the first veterans considered for a trade. While acquiring Scherzer could bring significant upside for a contender like the Yankees, there's little certainty surrounding the move. The 40-year-old right-hander has made just 17 starts over the past two seasons, raising concerns about his durability. Now in his 18th MLB season, Scherzer boasts a Hall of Fame resume with a 216, 112 career record, a 3.16 ERA, over 3,400 strikeouts, and a 74.5 career B WAR. So, so these rumors are debunked. All right, they are debunked. So, in other words, take it with a grain of salt. Hang on a second here. Okay, we're gonna go on to the next topic as soon as I find the topics in the episode description. Give me one moment. All right. All right, here we go. All right. Okay, let's talk about the recent pickups by the Mets. All right. So we're gonna get into the quick side bleacher bar in terms of things that are trending. Let's do this. All right, so the Mets picked up some recent relievers after the trade during the trade deadline. One is Ryan Helsing. No, hold on. I'm sorry. Ryan Helsley, and and the other guy's name is the other guy Tyler Rodgers. There you go. Okay, all right. Let's get into Ryan Helsley and then Tyler Rodgers. All right. So according to USA Today, the New York Mets have landed perhaps the most coveted relief pitcher on the market as the MLB trade deadline draws near. The St. Louis Cardinals have traded right-hander Ryan Helsley to the Mets in exchange for prospects Jesus Baez, Nate Dom, and Frank Ellisalt, the Mets announced. Helsley first took over closing duties in St. Louis in 2022 and has a highly successful run in the role, racking up a major league leading 49 saves last season while pitching to an ERA of 2.04. He has endured some rocky outings this season. However, as the Cardinals have faded from the playoff picture, he has 21 saves and a 3.00 ERA on the season, but has been much better over the past 6 weeks. Since June 15th, Helsley has allowed only one run in his last 11 innings. Ryan Helsley trade details includes the Cardinals trade right-handed pitcher Ryan Ryan Helsley to the Mets for Jesus Baez, Nate Dom, and Frank Ellisalt. Baez, an infielder, is the Mets' eighth ranked prospect. Dom and Ellisalt are both right-handed pitchers. The former, the Mets' 14th ranked prospect. According to Ryan Helsley's stats, this season Helsley has converted 21 to 26 save opportunities with a 3.00 ERA and 1.39 WHIP in 36 innings. So Ryan Helsley contract details. Helsley, age 31, is in his final year of arbitration with the Cardinals. making him a free agent for the first time in his career at the end of the season. He is currently making $8.2 million this season. $8.2 million. Wow. All right. Cardinals depth chart update. With Helsley moving on, the Cardinals could turn to veteran right-hander Phil Maton, former Met, or left-hander Jojo Romero to close out games. Mets depth chart update. The arrival of Helsley will give Mets manager Carlos Mendoza a plethora of different high leverage options late in games without taxing his bullpen down the stretch. The Mets have a pair of capable closers. You have Helsley and Edwin Diaz, along with experienced late inning savants in Tyler Rodgers, which I will talk about next. Acquired from the Giants earlier Wednesday, Gregory Soto and Ryan Stanek. So I'll talk about that next. So yeah, we'll talk about that next though. All right. So Tyler Rodgers recently to Tyler Rodgers in the from according to Sports Illustrated, the New York Mets bolstered their bullpen on Wednesday, just one day before the MLB trade deadline by acquiring relief pitcher Tyler Rodgers in a deal with the Giants. It cost the Mets a pretty penny to bring the submarine throwing right-hander to Queens, as New York parted ways with a pair of prospects, pitcher Blade Tidwell and outfielder Drew Gilbert, as well as veteran reliever Jose Butto. Tidwell was rated as the number 10 prospect in the Mets farm system, while Gilbert was just behind at number 12. Rodgers is a great addition, but the package the Mets sent to San Francisco certainly seemed like an overpay. That type of haul would typically be sufficient to net a team a low end starting pitcher, an area the organization is also hoping to address at the deadline, which already happened. Um, New York may have just inadvertently driven up the a starter on the market by surrendering such a significant haul in exchange for a reliever who is set to hit free agency after the season. MLB fans were all stunned by the trade package the Mets sent to the Giants in exchange for Rodgers, and they took to social media to share their bewilderment. Um, let's see. Let's see. If there's any more to actually there's some reactions on X that I could actually go over. So so listen, so Fabian Ardea, if that's the price for a very, very good rental reliever. And of course, Will Salmon from Sports Illustrated. The Giants are acquiring Jose Butto, Drew Gilbert, and Blade Tidwell from the Mets in the deal for right-handed reliever Tyler Rodgers. League sources confirmed. Joel Sherman and by Robert Murray on it. And of course, another individual says, wait, Tidwell and Gilbert and Butto for FA to be Rodgers. Yeah, Jose and John Heyman says Jose Butto is the third player via Joel Sherman. And of course, Jeff Passan stated and the Mets paid a very hefty price for Tyler Rodgers, right-hander Jose Butto, outfield prospect, and right-handed pitching prospect Blade Tidwell are headed to San Francisco, a source said. Joe Sherman, one, had the full return. SNY stated Rodgers will help, but that's a lot to give up. Gary Cohen to the package that the Mets will relinquish in the Tyler Rodgers trade. Baseball trade value states today the the Mets reportedly acquired right-handed pitcher Tyler Rodgers, um, $0.2 million surplus trade value from the San Francisco Giants in exchange for right-handed pitcher Jose Butto, $10.3 million, and Blade Tidwell, $8.3 million, and outfielder Drew Gilbert, $8.2 million. So the deal is rejected by our model as an overpay by New York. This trade was super risky for the Mets, and this is stated by Michael Marino, an all-out World Series chasing type of move. Butto, Gilbert, and Tidwell for half a season. Rodgers, who has been a beast. Execs around the league are shocked. Think it could be an overpay. Only time can tell if it was worth it. All right, so there you go, right there. There you go, right there. Now let's get to another topic. Let's get to another topic. Actually, I do want to before I go on to another topic. I want to get to some injury reports. Actually, let me see if I can find the injury reports. Actually, so let's just look for it real quick. Yeah, there is some injury reports that I want to get to. Actually, hold on one second. Wait a minute. Injury report. I know I have it somewhere. Injury report. Injury report. Let me see. Let me see. Injury report. Hold on. Let me see. Let's see. Injury report. Just a sec. Okay. Before I go on to the next topic, I want to actually get into the injury reports. All right. So here's what's happening with the injury reports and roster moves and stuff. So, latest injuries: right-handed pitcher Tyler McGill injury, right elbow sprain. IL date was June 17th, and of course retroactive to June 15th. Transferred to the 60-day IL. Um, July 8th, expected to return mid to late August. Working on a 5-day schedule and was set to throw a bullpen session on August 10th. Still being evaluated, but could potentially begin a minor league rehab assignment in the coming days. This was posted on August 10th. Paul Blackburn, right shoulder impingement. Um, was on the IL since July 3rd on the 15-day IL. Expect to return in mid-August. Threw 97 pitches and allowed 3 runs, 2 earned on 7 hits over 5 and 2/3 innings. In a rehab start with AAA Syracuse on August 8th, will check in the train with the trainers at Citi Field and throw a bullpen session as the Mets determine Next steps. Max Kranick, right flexor strain. He was on the IL since June 19th, transferred to the 60-day IL, retroactive to June 16th. Expected return is going to be in 2026, unfortunately. Underwent season-ending flexor tendon surgery in July. That operation gives him a chance to be ready at some point in 2026, which wouldn't have been the case had he needed Tommy John surgery, as Mets officials initially feared. Brandon Waddell, right hip impingement. He was on the IL since July 22nd, 15-day IL, retroactive to July 19th. Expect to return sometime in August. Not sure the exact date, but the status, um, okay, began a rehab assignment with Double A Binghamton on August 2nd, throwing 2 and 2/3 perfect innings with 6 strikeouts. Had been optioned to AAA Syracuse on July 19th, but subsequently had that option reversed and was placed on the IL. Jesse Winker, um, lower back inflammation. He was on the IL since July 10th. He's on a 10-day IL, and he will likely return in September. Status received an epidural on July 18th to address was another 7 to 10 days, but is still not close to starting baseball activities. Was subsequently transferred to the 60-day IL, making September 9th his earliest possible return date. And this was updated since July 31st. So unfortunately, he's not going to be back anytime soon. Drew Smith, recovery from Tommy John surgery with internal brace since February 13th, 60-day IL, late 2025 or 2026, underwent surgery in July 2024. Subsequently signed a 1-year deal with a 2026 team option to return to the Mets, who are overseeing his rehab. Has been throwing bullpen sessions and should advance to live batting practice soon. Damn. Damn, man. This shit is so fucking crazy. The Mets have been plagued with injuries, man. And that's just not it's just going to be it's just going to it happens. Shit happens, man. Like you can't hold that against them. All right. That's crazy. So obviously, Jose Siri fractured left tibia. Um, he was on the IL. He was transferred to the second half. Was shut down in early June after imaging showed the bone hadn't healed as well as the Mets initially hoped. Will not restart a running program at, um, will not restart a running program before August, but team officials remain optimistic that he can return this year. Um, I talked about Dedniel Nunez episodes ago. Right elbow sprain on the IL since July 3rd. Transferred to the 60-day IL on July 21st. Expected return will be 2026. Underwent the second Tommy John surgery of his career in July. Will miss the rest of this year and likely most of next season as well. Shit. That's fucking insane, man, with all these fucking injuries. Um yeah. Let me see. That's insane. Ruptured left Achilles tendon was on the IL since June 27th. Uh, and is on the 60-day IL, expected to return in 2026. Ruptured his Achilles tendon on June 26 and had season-ending surgery the following day. Should should require at least 9 months of rehab before returning to mound. Will be a free agent after the season. AJ Minter, another crazy one that happened. Left lat surgery. Was on the IL since April 27th, transferred to the 60-day IL on May 1st. Expected return will be 2026. Underwent season-ending surgery May 12th in Chicago after tearing his lat off the bone. Hopes to have a normal spring training in 2026. Danny Young, left-handed pitcher, left elbow ligament sprain, April 30th, retroactive to April 27th, transferred to the 60-day IL on May 4th. Expected return 2026. Underwent an MRI on April 30th that revealed a sprain. Subsequently decided to undergo Tommy John surgery, which will cost him the rest of this season and part of 2026. Um, Christian Scott. Christian Scott sprained UCL in right elbow, IL March 27th, 60-day IL, expected return in 2026. Underwent a hybrid Tommy John surgery in September 2024 and will almost certainly miss all of 2025. Began throwing for the first time again on March 11th. Jeez. Um, yeah, I was gonna talk about Nick Madrigal in a separate episode, but since we're under the injury news, actually the injury report, so I figured I'd just get to that right there. So Nick Madrigal, fractured left shoulder, was on the IL since February 24th, 60-day IL, and possibly returning in 2026. Dislocated and fractured his shoulder during a February 23rd Grapefruit League game and subsequently underwent season-ending surgery. Under team control through 2026 should Mets decide to tender him a contract. Now, I'll probably do more in depth on Nick Magico in a uh, in a separate episode. This is crazy, man. Anyway, let's get to the next topic here. I had another topic that I wanted to talk about here. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see. Let me see. David Bednar. Well, the Mets didn't get David Bednar because he got traded to the Yankees. So what happened is when heavy storms halted play for nearly 3 hours in the bottom of Giancarlo Stanton. Giancarlo Stanton said it sparked a clubhouse competition, seeing who has the best internet connection. That Wi-Fi came in handy. The trade deadline clock was on, and Yankees were busy. By the time the tarp was dragged across the infield, they had already acquired two relievers, David Bednar from the Pirates and Jake Bird from the Rockies. Then came Camilo Doval, acquired from the Giants, just as the Yankees put the finishing touches on a 7-4 victory over the Rays at Yankee Stadium. Yanks proved they are never out of the game in wild 11 inning win. Uh, Hold on a second here. Wait. 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 What the hell? What the hell? Hold on a second here. All right. Toss in a mid-game swap that saw infielder Jose Caballero switch dugouts after being dealt from Tampa Bay to New York, and another that prompted manager Aaron Boone to send Oswald Peraza back to the clubhouse after being traded to the Angels. It was chaotic. It was unforgettable, and most importantly, the Yankees believe they have improved. I know we're better, General Manager Brian Cashman said. Just keeping it simple, we are better today than we were yesterday, so mission accomplished there. Cashman's maneuvers reshaped a club that has stumbled in late May, yet now believes it is equipped to repeat as American League champions. Bednar, Bird, and Doval addressed a glaring need. The Yanks entered the day with the AL's worst worst bullpen ERA, 6.29 since July 1st. The reality is we have a number of guys that are more than capable of getting the final three outs, manager Aaron Boone said. Shortening the game has been a little bit of a challenge for us over the last month and a half. With some of the injuries we've had, I know we've got some high-powered guys now. So there you go, right there. I'm not gonna get into. So this is basically some baseball news right there, man, and involving another New York team, the New York Yankees. Usually, okay. Usually, I don't usually. So it's funny. So let's see. So they got David Bednar, Jay Burt, Camille Duvall, of course. They also added Ahmad Rosario. They got Ryan McMahon, infielder, outfielder, Austin Slater. So that's just that's interesting right there. So Bednar's 30. He's the same age as Cedric Mullens, which I'll get to in a sec, actually. Which I'll get to in a sec. Um yeah, this is quite interesting, actually. So I ain't gonna waste my time on this shit though. But let me go to the next one, actually. So yeah, the Mets didn't get Bednar, David Bednar. They did not get him. Speaking of which, speaking of which, let's get to Justin Hangeman. Okay, hold on. Give me 1 second. Trying to. All right, Justin Hangeman, according to Amazing Avenue, ahead of today's series finale against the Guardians, the Mets have called up right-handed reliever Justin Hangeman. In a corresponding move, the team sent Dom Hamill back to AAA Syracuse following his call-up on Tuesday. Hangeman has made 4 appearances at the major league level for New York this year, including one start. In 12 and one-third innings of work, he's allowed 8 runs, 7 earned on 14 hits, with 13 strikeouts and 1 walk. In 16 appearances for Syracuse, the righty owns a 4.99 ERA in 52 and one-third innings. He last pitched for New York against the Orioles on July 10th when he picked up the loss after allowing 3 runs, 2 earned on 4 hits over 2 innings of relief ahead of yesterday's game. But despite warming up in the bullpen in the middle innings, did to appear. The right-hander, whom the Mets drafted in the third round of the 2021 MLB draft, owns a 4.73 ERA in 53 and one third innings for Syracuse this year, which includes 8 starts and 14 relief outings. Shit. Okay, that's not bad. Well, it is bad, but anyway, it is bad though. But um, okay, so let's get to the next one. Recap, a little bit of a recap though, man. You know what I mean? Um, a little bit of the recap though, man. And this was around in July when the Mets played the Kansas City Royals and stuff. So according to Yahoo Sports, the Mets rallied to beat the Kansas City Royals 8-3 on Friday at Kauffman Stadium. Here are some takeaways. After a brief rain delay, Kodai Senga was finally able to get out there in his return from the IL. The right-hander was greeted brutally as Kansas City quickly pushed the first two batters into scoring position, but two strikeouts and a liner back right back through the box helped Senga out of the inning unscathed. He faced even more trouble over the next two innings, coming with 2 outs. Senga issued back-to-back walks in the second, but was helped out by a nifty Ronnie Mauricio snag. Then he got rookie Jack um Jack Caglione Jack Caglione one to chase a forkball in the dirt and strand runners on the corners in the third. Singer went again, helped out by Mauricio as he finished his night with a much needed clean fourth inning. He threw 67 pitches in his first start back and allowed just 4 hits and 2 walks while striking out four over four scoreless innings. He lowered his ERA to 1.39. The Mets appeared to have Michael Waka on the ropes in the third as a walk and 2 hits loaded the bases, but they were only able to scratch across a run on a Pete Alonso walk. Juan Soto and Mark Vientos struck out between that. Vientos smashed his bat over the plate frustration as his recent struggles continued. Alex Carrillo, who he actually sent down, worked a scoreless inning. The rookie right-hander came back out for the sixth and was able to get the first 2 outs. But Brandon Nimmo was unable to come up with a sliding grab on a sinker liner to left, and the game time run scored on the double. And an inning later, the Royals jumped in front for the first time in the game as all-star shortstop Bobby Witt Jr. crushed a go-ahead run homer to deep left center on a Huascar Brazoban middle middle fastball with 1 out seventh. And he's also sent down to the minors too. Um, the Mets answered right back though as the frustrated Vientos. Hang on a second. Um, Hold on one second. Yeah, as the wait, hold on a second. Yeah, as the frustrated Vientos was able to deliver this time with the bases loaded after falling behind in the count against Royals closer Carlos Estevez. The youngster laced a bases clearing double into the left center gap to put New York back in front. Then in the ninth, New York would put this one away for good as Francisco Lindor lifted a 3-run homer and Soto put one over the left center fence, giving and Soto regains the team lead with 22. He got more than 22 right now. He has more than 22. So the go ahead hit was a good sign for Vientos, who needed it desperately. So yeah, we needed it desperately. Okay. So yeah, there you go. Yeah, there you go. Um, so there you go, right there. I believe they took 2 out of 3 from the Royals, so that's pretty good actually. I did watch that game too. Now, the most hilarious thing happened while Keith Hernandez were in the booth. So this is gonna, yo. I know there's a lot about I know there's a lot of memes with Gary Cohen and Keith Hernandez in the booth while Keith. I'm gonna break this down. Don't worry, I'm gonna break this down though, and this is from uh Sports Illustrated, man. Let's break this down though. The New York Mets were on the road Thursday for a doubleheader against the Baltimore Orioles. SNY had 2/3 of its classic broadcast team in the booth for the game, as Gary Cohen and Keith Hernandez called the game from Oriole Park at Camden Yards. During the second leg of the doubleheader, a foul ball was sent back into the direction of the booth. Cohen noticed the ball flying their way and prepared to duck in case it was going to hit him. Meanwhile, Hernandez had absolutely no idea where the foul ball was hit, and it ended up whizzing past his face. Oh shit. Oh shit. And it ended up whizzing past his face in the booth, narrowing, missing, hitting him in the head. Oh man. I know there's a lot of fucking memes right now. I know there's a lot of memes. Oh man. Oh man. It was only after the ball had passed Hernandez's head and hit the floor in the booth that the 71-year-old noticed what had happened. Cedric Mullens fouls one back this way that went right past Keith's ear, and he never saw it, said Cohen while delivering the play-by-play call. Shit. Oh man. Oh my gosh. Oh shit. The broadcasting partners couldn't help but crack up at the total lack of awareness by Hernandez. Oh wow. Oh man. We can laugh about it now, but if that ball had been just a few feet more to the left, you could have been done for the season or maybe forever. Yo, don't jinx that shit, Gary Cohen. Don't do that. Don't do that, man. You could have been back in the incinerator. Oh shit. My eyes are going on me, and my reflexes. Hernandez added, "We just never get a ball up there, up here, never." Fortunately, Hernandez came away from the situation unscathed, and he and Cohen were able to share a hearty laugh over the near miss. But as Cohen pointed out, Hernandez was a matter of inches away from a truly scary moment in Baltimore. Yo, I bet you there are memes right now with Keith Hernandez and Gary Cohen in the booth. I bet you there's gonna be memes about it though, man. As a matter of fact, just for good times, let me see if I can actually look up a damn the meme in regards to that, man. This this has got to be. Oh my gosh, man. All right. Okay. Okay. All right. I gotta look up this. Let's look up. I'm gonna look up this meme right here of Keith Hernandez. Keith Hernandez and Gary. Hold on. Gary Cohen in the Baltimore booth. Hold on. Hold on. There's gotta be a meme where, yo, this is so fun. Yeah, I told you. I told you there was gonna be memes about it. Hold on, let me memes about it. Let me see. Oh my gosh. Oh, even even Jerry Seinfeld was watching the game too. Oh man. Oh my gosh. I can't. Yo, this is just too funny, man. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about this, folks, but I just had to actually. I just had to look this up. All right, let me see. Memes. Okay, memes. Okay, memes. So this is just too funny, man. Oh Lord, that is so funny, man. It's not even, that's funny, man. I can't help this shit though. I can't help this though, man. Oh shit. Oh Lord, that is too funny, man. That is just too funny right there, man. Yeah, yeah, man. Oh, no, it is a funny moment though, man, and that's probably going to be one of the most memorable memes in baseball of 2025. The Keith Hernandez shit when Cedric Mullens hit a foul ball and didn't even flinch. Didn't even flinch to the fact that the ball almost hit his ass, which is crazy to me, man. Oh my gosh, that is so funny, man. Oh my fucking gosh, man. That's funny, man. Oh man. Oh man. Yeah, that's oh man. I'm sorry. This is just too funny. This is just too funny though, man. I can't even yo. Oh Lord, that is too funny, man. That is just too funny right there, man. Yeah, yeah. I don't know if you would call it a wipeout, but I don't know if it's a wipeout, but that's just Yo, that's crazy, man. He didn't even flinch. He wasn't even aware. Shit. Shit. Yeah, I would have hide and I would have hide and just run for the hills, man. Oh my gosh, man. This is just too funny. I can't help it, man. But um yeah, this is yeah, and that was just too funny though, man. And that was just too funny right there. Um you know, that was just too funny though, man. And I do want to touch on the the baseball legends. Let me see the baseball legends that have been inducted into the MLB Hall of Fame. The MLB Hall of Fame, actually. Um, Let me just find it. Yes. So so recently, Ichiro, CC Sabathia, and more including Billy Wagner, were inducted into the MLB Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, according to USA Today. So what's going on? It took place on Sunday, July 27th. A little bit of a highlights of the Baseball Hall of Fame as Ichiro Suzuki, CC Sabathia, Billy Wagner, Dave Parker, and Dick Allen were inducted in Cooperstown, New York. Suzuki became the Hall of Fame's first Japanese player, assembling a 19-year MLB career after 9 decorated professional seasons in Japan, and was just one vote shy of a unanimous. Sabathia also got in on his first ballot after winning 261 games as one of the best starting pitchers of the new millennium. Wagner ranks eighth on the all-time saves list with 422, while Allen 1972 and Parker 1978 were MVP award winners. An enormous crowd showed for the festivities with Suzuki a fan favorite on both sides of the Pacific Ocean. Sabathia also had a huge number of fans on hand with Cooperstown, a 4 hour drive from Yankee Stadium, where Sabathia pitched 11 seasons. And let me see. And let me see. So, of course, a little bit of a recap of um, the Hall of Fame ceremony induction. So, of course, steals the show. Ichiro, Ichiro, Ich, Ichiro, Ichiro was undoubtedly the biggest name of the 2025 Hall of Fame class, the first Japanese born player to establish enshrined in Cooperstown, despite his immense fame, success, and long, illustrious career. Though Ichiro started his speech talking about his familiarity with rookie, first in Japan, then Seattle, and now Cooperstown. He asked his fellow Hall of Fame members to take it easy with the hazing. Ichiro then spoke on his accomplishments, mentioning that he was honored that all but one of the BBWAA riders believed he was worthy of Hall of Fame consideration. Ichiro had previously offered to have that rider over for dinner at his house. Ichiro rescinded the offer, which drew a large laugh from the crowd. Ichiro also did not shy away from the pressure he faced as a Japanese born player. He went out of his way to thank Hideo Nomo for carving the path these players commonly being found in Major League Baseball. After a day of largely emotional speeches filled with tears and heartfelt poems, Ichiro was much lighter, speaking largely dreams and goals, his love for Seattle, and his love for the high octane calls he heard on the television and radio for some of his most iconic plays. He even taught the experience in baseball, being able to enjoy a hot dog in the stands with his wife after he'd retired. Ichiro finished his speech to massive applause and Ichiro chants from fans in the crowd. And CC Sabathia learned lessons from each place he lived. Sabathia was a bit of an autobiography, speaking on lessons that he learned and people who inspired him at each step in his life. From his childhood to Cooperstown, he started his speech talking about how his mother inspired his love for baseball and how he can still remember the starting lineups from certain all-star games, pointing out fellow 2025 Hall of Fame class member Dave Parker as a player he loved watching growing up. At the same time, he did poke fun at Ichiro Suzuki, who Sabathia claims stole his Rookie of the Year in 2001. Sabathia's speech was all about family, from the women who raised him in Valle Vallejo, Vallejo, how you pronounce this, it to the brothers he found during his major league career, to his own kids. He's had a lot of homes throughout his career, but home isn't where you live, it's wherever you feel most at peace. And that is very clearly the case for CC Sabathia, excuse me. Dick Allen. Dick Allen's widow speaks on his career. Phillies legend Dick Allen was known for his strong build, but his widow made most of the acceptance speech about his kind heart, whether it was taking time to speak with children who were fans of his or his simple thank you when the Phillies told him that they were going to retire his number. Allen never took the fact that he got to play baseball for a living for granted. Willa Allen noticeably 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 emotional when speaking on her husband's death, which came just 4 months after the Phillies told him they would retire his number. Um, Pirates legend Dave Parker passed away less than a month away from his induction ceremony, making his son's speech hit that much harder. As it happened, Dave Parker, too, even mentioned that he died while writing his Hall of Fame speech. Parker II finished his speech with written by his father, noting that it was specifically his father's request that it be read during the acceptance speech. The poem was a good conclusion, with Parker posthumously praising himself for rocket arm and willingness to run any catcher over. The best moment of the poem, though, was the finale. After mentioning that Cooperstown would be his last stop, Parker wrote, I didn't lie in my documentary. I told you I wouldn't show to my acceptance speech. Considering Parker's recent death, this line hit infinitely harder. Billy Wagner leads off Hall of Fame speeches. Renowned for his closing ability, Billy Wagner led off the Hall of Fame acceptance speeches, reminiscing about being a kid who never thought he'd end up in Cooperstown. Wagner's speech was preceded by incredible words from fellow Hall of Famer and former teammate Craig Biggio. Wagner continued on, speaking about his luck to finish his career with his hometown team. The oddity that he never closed a game in the minors and never started a game in the majors, and thanking his family for their support, even getting teary eyed while mentioning his wife. Arguably, the highlight, though, was when Wagner turned to speak to his Hall of Fame teammates Craig Biggio and Jeff Bagwell. Sharing the stage with them, Wagner wasted no time both praising and teasing them, mocking Bagwell's trying glare and Biggio's winningness, while also praising their Ken Griffey Jr. receives monumental applause. With Ichiro Suzuki entering the hall today, it was no surprise that numerous Mariners fans had made their way to Cooperstown. Before Suzuki could take the stage, though, several other Hall of Famers took the stage to show their support, including Mariners legend Ken Griffey Jr. The applause was enormous, definitely the of the day before Ichiro. Unsurprisingly, the next largest applause came from the announcement of Mariners designated hitter and third baseman Edgar Martinez. Edgar Martinez. Um, when Suzuki was finally announced, he and Griffey shared a handshake on stage. The two played together on 2 seasons in Seattle. Um, so yeah, so that's pretty much what happened with the hall the baseball Hall of Fame induction of 2025. Congratulations to the former players of Ichiro Suzuki, CC Sabathia, Billy Wagner, Dave Parker, and Dick Allen, um, for being inducted into the MLB Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York. I want to make some noise. Let's make some noise, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's make some noise, man. And oh man, I'm sorry, but um, oh man, hold on a second. Yeah, let's make some noise for the former players in baseball. Yeah, I'm not gonna hold you, man. When I watched that game, when the Mets played against the Baltimore Orioles before Cedric Mullens got traded to the New York Mets, he did hit a foul ball. And the crazy thing is, the reason why I had to look up some memes, if there were any memes involving Keith Hernandez and Gary Cohen, who were basically laughing about it, though, man. I'm not gonna hold you, man. He didn't even flinch. he did not. He did not fucking flinch at all. He didn't even see the ball that almost hit his head, man. That shit was so funny, man. This shit is so funny to me, man. And I'm not even gonna hold you because this shit is so funny to me, and it's not even. It's just I just find it crazy, man, that he didn't know the ball was going to hit in the booth, which is crazy though, man. Yeah, and a lot of people are gonna remember this shit though, man. That's why people make memes out of people. You know what I'm saying? People make memes out of this shit though, man. Yeah, man. I just wanted to get some laughs out of this though, man, because of what went down with today's game and stuff. So I didn't want to sound doom and gloom, unlike some of the Mets fans out there though. I did not want to sound doom and gloom and shit though, man. So it's just they did lose 11 out of 12 games, but at the same time, I do have something to say about that as well. Um, but I do want to let me see, man. Let me see something, man. You know, you know what? You know what? Why not? Why not do sports podcast of the week? All right. Let's do that right there. All right, sports podcast of the week. I'm gonna recommend for you folks at home listening and all that great stuff. So I actually added more stuff to it. In the sports section. The Let me see in the sports section. Let me just look for it. Let me just look for it though. Um, yeah. So of course, obviously, Mets Daily by Jake Brown. Couple Mets, mostly Mets. 3 inning fan podcast with Kelly Franco. Mets Fix. Mets Center. Digging Deep, the Rico Bronya podcast with Evan Roberts, Locked On Mets podcast with Ryan Finkelstein. Of course, you have Locked On Sports Today podcast with some stories in the NFL, MLB, NHL, and NCAA. And of course, Mets Weekly, Foul Territory, Till Mets Do His Part podcast, the Shade podcast, Subway Sports Talk podcast actually. Of course, subscribe to Dominant Mets Nation, Shea Station podcast, the Mets Pod, Meet at the Apple, New York Mets podcast, Metcast, CP's True Mets Talk podcast. Be sure to check that out. And be sure to also check out Believe in Mets, Chris Schubert and Jack McCasey. Top Bunk Sports and Seven Express podcast. First time caller, long time listener with Laura Albanese. Mets Therapy, Why Am I a Mets Fan podcast with Samantha and Ashley. Talking baseball, Empire State Baseball, Bourbon and Baseball, Locked On Big 12 podcast. Of course, you can subscribe to Shay and Sons podcast, the Triborough podcast, Locked On Yankees podcast and postcast, Locked On NBA East Squad podcast, the Deferred Collusion podcast, Locked On Fantasy Baseball, Locked On Fantasy Basketball podcast, Locked On Nets, Hoops for Hotties podcast with Mariah Rose, Born to the Game podcast, Locked On NBA, Locked On MLB, Locked On Fantasy Football, Messed Up podcast, Nothing Personal with David Sampson, Early Game, First Pitch MLB Daily Recap podcast, Flipping Bats and Nerds podcast, New York Sports Talk. You got TMZ Sports, you got Locked On New York Giants podcast, It Is What It Is podcast, Locked On College Football podcast, Locked On College Basketball podcast, Queens Brothers Sports podcast, Locked On NFL Draft podcast, Shay Les podcast, Empire State Sports Latest with Adriana. Make sure you subscribe to those YouTube channel pages. Locked On MLB Game Night podcast, Locked On Syracuse podcast, Talking Giants, Good Morning Football podcast, and of course, Good Morning Football Overtime on My 9 weekdays at 12 p.m. on My 9. All right. Locked On Mets postcast with Chris Schubert, Full Circle podcast with Lexi and Mariah Rose. Locked On NBA Game Night podcast. Of course, make sure you subscribe to Wardy's YouTube channel pages, Wardy MLB and Wardy NYM, and of course Wardy NYM, a show about the New York Mets, Mets Mariah's online podcast, and of course, since the Mets are off tomorrow, there's going to be Mets Off Day Live on SNY's YouTube channel page, the Blunt Talk Sports Podcast, straight out of Flushing, Mets podcast with Dexter Henry. And of course, don't forget to tune into his other sports show, New York Got Game basketball podcast. Of course, you got the Sports Card CEO Official Collectibles podcast as well. Make sure y'all check that out as well. There's also another one actually I need to actually get into actually. So there's unapologetically Angel with Angel Reese. You got Baseball America. You have let me see. Just Baseball show for baseball fans. You have let me see. You got Filthy Sports, Unpopular Opinion Sports Talk Nation. You have Dead End Sports. You have Ringer and NBA Mayday with Trevor May. You have I'm Right podcast, Talking Baseball. You got Nation League Town, a Mets podcast as well. Let me see. I know I put some more. Sports related stuff. Yes. So, Fantasy Baseball Today podcast, the Sports Shots Pod, the Baseball Aficionado, Attack the Baseline, a WNBA podcast, Baseball Today, the Portal Daily College Recruiting and NIL podcast, Mets in the UK, Locked On NFL Draft Daily podcast on the NFL, New York Got Game, a New York basketball podcast, Straight Out of Mets podcast by Dexter Henry, Speak, Believe in Mets, Mets Therapy, A Picture is Worth 1,000 Words podcast, Giants Nation Show, Giants podcast, Queens of the Court, a WNBA podcast, 7 p.m. in Brooklyn with Carmela Anthony, Talking Baseball, MLB podcast, the Giants Insider podcast. You got First Time Caller, Long Time Listener podcast with Laura Albanese, who you may know from Newsday and sometimes on SNY. First Take, Locked On NBA, Big Board NBA Draft podcast, the Black Baseball Mixtape, the Just Baseball Show for fans, Baseball Tonight with Buster Olney, 10th Inning Talk hosted by April, Post Moves with Candace Parker and Aaliyah Boston as well. So make sure y'all go check that out as well. Let me see. And before I forget, let me see. Before I forget, let me make sure. Let me make sure I mention the Call Up and MLB Prospect podcast. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to that Mets podcast. We gotta believe. And let me for sports podcast of the week. If I could think of any sports podcast recommendations, I will add it to the list. I'll add that to the list and stuff when I get a chance. But all right, so that segment right here. Hang on a second here, if I can find it. Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's get into hang on a second. Let's get into stream choices on the go. Hold on a second. Let me find it. Yes, stream choices on the go. Okay. Make sure you follow the Sports Edition Show, Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast on Facebook, Blue Sky Social, alongside with Threads and Instagram. Same goes with my other podcast shows, includes the entertainment review show Meticulous Juice podcast. I just dropped episode 145 and 146. Make sure y'all check that out. And my comedy Off the Meat Rack Chains New York Avenue podcast. I just dropped 2 episodes on Friday, 411 and 412. And all the other episodes, make sure y'all check that out as well. And of course, you can follow your host with the most, G Money Stacks 555 on Threads, and G Money Stacks 555 in Queens, New York, and on Instagram as well. It's the same as it is on Threads and Instagram. So you go to the link in bio. You're gonna see a whole list. You're gonna see a whole list of streaming platforms that you can listen to the episodes whatsoever. And I would gladly go over with you folks at home. So if you go to the link in bio where it says Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks Pod, you're gonna see a whole list of streaming platforms of the podcast feed links. So you're gonna see Audible, Odyssey, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts. Make sure you leave a review on Apple Podcasts alongside with 5 stars, and of course, tell me how you feel about the topics in sports in each episode, and it helps me with all the confidence, the strength and energy to create more podcast episodes to help me keep going. And so be sure to spread that to your friends. Make sure they leave a 5-star rating and a review of your feedback. The feedback is very important, actually. So let's keep going here. Castbox FM, these are listen notes, Moon FM podcast, Overall FM podcast, Player FM, Pandora, Player FM, Pocket Cast, Podo Polo, Podorama, Podcast Index, Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Podverse, Podcast Guru, Podcatcher, Podcast Republic, Snip, Spotify. Make sure you add the podcast to your Spotify playlist so you don't miss out on any episodes that's being up. And of course, press the notification bell on Spotify so you'll be notified on when new episodes will be dropping. We're also on Spotify for creators. Well, you can also make sure you comment on there as well. And You can listen to the episodes on TuneIn alongside with Fountain, Good Pods, iHeartRadio, the #1 app where you can listen to your favorite music artists such as rappers, singers in R&B and other music genres, radio stations, and of course, you can listen to the sports podcast episodes for free. You don't need a credit card or debit card to download iHeartRadio. All you need to do is actually follow the sports podcast. Follow the sports podcast on iHeartRadio. Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast, which is the sports platform that I'm doing, and of course on other streaming platforms like I just mentioned. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube Sports channel page so you will be notified on when I'll be on the air via live stream with new episodes and new topics. And of course, leave a like and a comment alongside with the sports topics in the episodes with your thoughts on how you feel about the sports topics being discussed in each episode. And of course, be sure to also share the Linktree link with the podcast feed links with your husbands, your wives, your boyfriends, girlfriends, people you're cool with from work, and of course, spreading the word as well. Word of mouth is important as well. And of course, more video podcast episode, live streams, and of course, new episodes will be dropping Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. All right. And of course, video uploads will happen on each YouTube channel pages. Now, if you missed any episodes that are dropped on the sports YouTube channel page, which is episodes 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 100, 101, and 102, please catch up on the episodes and all that great stuff. So yeah. There you have it. That's gonna do it for me, man. I'm your man, G Money Stacks, aka. Thank you to every single one of you who took the time to listen to the episodes. You could listen to any sports podcast in the whole world, but you chose to listen to the Sports Edition show of Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast. That really means a lot to me. And of course, spread the word to everybody to subscribe to the channel. Trying to raise up the subscriber numbers. So please spread the word and subscribe to the YouTube channel page. All right. Remember, the grind doesn't stop. Hard work pays off. If you want something hard and earn it, it's not going to be given to you on a fucking silver platter. Be on your P's and Q's if you plan on starting a podcast as well. And of course, be yourself behind the microphone, creatively, mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. That gets you into your zone alongside with tunnel vision. And of course, follow your goals and dreams. Don't let anybody stop you from doing what you love to do. Even if your parents don't support the type of creativity and idea of a career or what you're trying to do, don't worry about them. The only person you should be worried about is supporting yourself and pleasing yourself. A couple of things that I want to say before I get up out of here in regards to the New York Mets. Look, it's interesting what Brendan Nimmo said during the press while talking to the media. He said, in quote, when you sign up for a career in baseball, no matter how much you love it, there is also a game of failure and heartbreak and all that stuff right there. And I think sometimes with these Mets players, they tend to, overthink, beat themselves up over mental mistakes, mental errors. All that stuff can really drive a player crazy. I mean, I saw that with Corey Singer and other players, even Francisco Lindor. But something, I'm going to save all that stuff in the following episode. I just want to touch on it a little bit so I can actually get my thoughts across, though, man. And everybody who keeps talking about a collapse, right? Are you really going to just, are you really going to act as if that, they're not human? I get the fact that this is a results business, but at the same token and the same time, you gotta understand that every player goes through fucking slumps. It's not just Mark Vientos, okay? It's not just Brett Beatty. It's not just Mauricio. It's not just Brandon Nimmo and all the other players. All right? Every team goes through this, okay? It's not like you're going to be able to get an overnight magic fix. There is no overnight magic fix. At the same time, you don't want to actually, you don't want to actually give up on your fans and stuff, man. Even though fans are very hard to please and all that other crazy shit going on, and as far as a collapse and stuff, I don't believe there's going to be a collapse. I really don't believe it, based on what Brandon Nimmo was talking about in the media after the game and all that other stuff. I mean, they still got time to they still have time to actually turn things around and shit, though. So you know what I mean? I mean, let's not forget that they're human beings as well. They're not robots. They're not fucking robots. Jerry Blemon said it best, though, man. They need to stop blaming themselves over the mistakes. You can't let these mental mistakes that happen drive you crazy. And yes, baseball is a mental thing. It's a mental thing. You know what you feel what I'm saying? It's a mental thing. Like, you're not going to be able to, please everybody. You can't please everybody, no matter what you do. So yeah, there you go, right there. And look, I'm like one of those New York Mets fans who's never gonna give up players and stuff, no matter whether they win or lose or whatever. And sometimes when a team loses games and stuff, whether it's about mental errors, mental mistakes, whatever it may be, man, those mistakes don't define who you are as individuals. All right? Don't let the mistakes drive you crazy and make you feel like you're not worthy. You are worthy. You are worthy of a team. You are worthy as a team. You know what I'm saying? And I think as I touch on this on the following episode, and I will actually, go in deep into this. So yeah. That's my take on it, though, man. I'm not giving team, man. And and for those Mets fans who are wishing on a downfall of a collapse and stuff, you cannot just act like this, man. This is not an overnight success. You're not gonna have overnight success of winning every single fucking game, man, because there is no overnight fix into winning games. There's no magic fairy dust or whatever case scenario may be. And as far as identity of who they are as a Mets team, listen, man, it's one thing to be frustrated. It's one thing to be frustrated about a team that's losing games and stuff, 11, 12 games and stuff. I mean, give up on your fucking team, man. Because if you did, that just shows that you're not really, and I'm not saying everybody's like that, but it just goes to show that you're not really in it as supportive baseball fans and stuff. And as far as like sending a message in terms of them winning games, I know this is a results business, but at the same time, they're not robots to win games. They're not robots. So let's keep that in mind, and let's keep that baseball is a game of failure. And the simple fact that it is also the fact that you can't let the mistakes, the mental mistakes define you and who you are as a team. I'm going to touch on more about this in the future, and I'm pretty sure anybody's probably listening to this and probably I'm talking about here saying I'm crazy or whatever, but at the same time, I don't really fucking care because look, I'm not giving up on the team based on the amount of losses and all that other stuff. There is no overnight fix. No matter how many trades you try to do, it's not gonna be an overnight fix. This is not an overnight magic trick to win every fucking game. Like seriously. To like you, to all the people who want to give up on the team based on pessimism and all that other stuff, and I heard this the end was on Wardy's Instagram live feed, and it's like listen. You cannot please everybody. No matter what you do, you're never going to make everybody happy. Like I said, you got to please yourself, man. You got to please yourself. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You feel what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm going to touch on more about this shit like in a following episode. Right now, I just want to get up out of here. And I appreciate every single one of you taking the time to listen. I hope y'all subscribe to the Sports YouTube channel page. Thank you for listening to the 103rd episode of the Sports Edition show, Excellent Fun Vibrant Talks podcast, titled Never Say Never When It Comes to the New York Mets. And I named it that because you never know when they might turn night, but that shit takes time. Remember that. All right. So I'm gonna get up out of here, man, because I want to actually set up some sports topics for the next episode. The Mets are off tomorrow. I hope y'all are prepared for the next heat wave, all that great stuff. So please have your water, have your Gatorade, have your ice creams, your Italian icings, popsicles, and all that other stuff prepared, because it's gonna be a crazy heat wave for the next 3 days. Actually, for the next 3 days, it's going to be happening. So it's going to be on Tuesday. So be sure to actually be in your air conditioners. If you don't have any cooling centers, you can call 311. They'll give you like a locations on where you could actually find cooling centers in a neighborhood near you. All right, I'm out of here. Peace and one love. Let's go, Mets. Good night, everybody.